Good day, everybody. Smyers Jackson. Today I'm here with Don Graves, Corporal, United States Marine Corps, 1945. He was at one of the most memorable events in a lot of people's mind. Don, tell us what you was doing that day.
Well, it all started on February 19th at 8 o'clock in the morning. I was in the third wave, and I was right next to Suribachi. We were to take that, the 28th Marines. Well, so we hit the beach, got out of our amphibious tractors. We lay there, jammed up. We were elbow to elbow. The whole beach was plugged up tight. We could not get off. Every time we'd start over the top, some buddies would drop. And was our Medal of Honor, John Basilone. He was over to my right. He was there. And all of a sudden, word passed out. Basilone just got it. Some sniper just got him. And boy, that affected our morale. So we finally got over the top to the second wave. There's 3 ridges. 1, 2, 3. Make a left turn. There's Suribachi 545 feet away. So I got up and I had my flamethrower on, and there was 2 men with me all the time. So I didn't bother about looking at them, and I know they weren't watching me. We finally got to the top ridge, and I started to make a left turn, and I noticed that I was alone. I lost both of them. I kept on going, got into a hill, and right on almost top of that hill was a shell crater from one of our bombers. And I rolled into that hole. There was another Marine in there facing Suribachi. He had his M1 pointed towards it like that. And I said, "What outfit you in, Mac?" Never answered. I said, "What outfit you in?" Didn't answer. I reached over to grab him and shake him. I saw that the bottom half of his body was on the other side of the hole. I finally made it up another 200-300 feet. And all of a sudden, the kid yells out, "Hey, Graves, hold up, hold up." So I looked, here's a buddy of mine. He was in another regiment, and we were all mixed up. It was a mess. So finally, he joined me and stayed with me. We got up there, and all of a sudden, it's getting dark. Well, we called for flares that night. So they were dropping flares from the Navy. And you could look out about 100 feet, and there was about 300-400 Japanese soldiers crawling towards us. And all we did was keep those flares coming, and we kept hitting them and hitting them and hitting them. The next morning we got up. We wanted to make sure they were all gone. Well, I had my flamethrower. So I got up and I moved that way with them. Man, they were really dead. We killed about 300-400 of them right then and there. Well, we finally moved to the base, and a Japanese soldier jumped off from behind a couple of big rocks, ran, and I said, "There goes one right there." So John, with his M1, started to fire, missed him. He dove down in a hole. We got up to the hole about 50 feet. And he said, "I'll go in there and throw hand grenades." I said, "No, hold up a minute." One thing we were told aboard the LSTs was that we needed prisoners. We don't know anything about that other than what the Air Force can tell us. That's it. So be sure and try and take them if you can. If you can't, kill them. So I said, "Just a minute." So I yelled out in Japanese, "Detakoi, come, Kohano Shaki, flamethrower." About 3 or 4 times I yelled, nothing. I said, "Let's move up." Well, about the time we took a step, he come up out of there, and he had a different outfit on, if that was him. He had a beautiful officer's uniform on. He had a beautiful sword hanging on his side, and he had something on his chest. And all he did was stare and look at us. I yelled about 2 or 3. I said, "Okay, let's go." When we started taking one step, boom, nothing left. Blew himself all to smithereens. Nothing left of his body. Everything was gone. and so did my sword go. I couldn't get the sword. Well, we finally got up to the base, moved up halfway up, and they started rolling hand grenades at us. Now, Chandler Johnson, my regimental commander, he was at the base. And he told us, he said, be very careful. I just sent Lieutenant Schreier. He's got a patrol of guys. They're going up there towards the left, and they're going to get up there, and they're going to try and put a flag up there for me. So be very careful. We said, aye, sir. Well, we kind of wiggled up, and we saw that they were moving right towards the top on our left. So when we got up to the top ridge, we looked, and all of a sudden, Old Glory goes up. And everybody on that island saw that flag go up. Out in the water, I don't know how many ships were blasting away with horns. And in there, they could fire up in the air, tracers, everything. It was a spectacle. But all it did was infuriate the Japanese, and they came at us all the harder. And they really fought us. Finally secured up there afterwards. There was some fighting going on when the flag went up. Well, a little while later, we've got our positions. We're dug in up there. So, and it's all stopped now, but up comes this group of photographers and what's his name, Rosenthal? Yeah, Rosenthal. He came up with a group, and he took the second picture. Now, here's the funny thing. Not Ira Hayes. Ira wasn't in that second picture. He was in the first. And Bradley, the Navy corpsman, he was in that. Well, the big stink came up that they kept Bradley in there. But Bradley was not in that second flag raising. That was another group. So the lie went on for a good few years until this forensic photographer found out that it wasn't Bradley because of his leggings. Bradley never wore leggings. He never wore a cap. He hated caps. He hated his helmet. Colonel Chandler Johnson, he wore a ball cap, Marine ball cap. He wouldn't wear a helmet. So when we thought about that, we suddenly realized, my gosh, that's right. So now we got something in front of us. How about this famous flag raising picture? Now, what else is wrong with that picture? Well, they couldn't find anything else wrong with it. And we now know the reason Jack Bradley, he lived 60 miles from me in Wisconsin, you couldn't visit him. You could not get in there. He lied every time someone approached. William Jr., he came to me. He had a show put out at the Palace Theater in Dallas, the old theater. They redid it up, and they showed John Wayne's opening of the movie Shores of Tripoli, something like that. And he was there talking for his dad. And I told his dad, I said, you know, that gives me a big, good answer. And he said, what's that, Don? I said, he didn't want to blow that thing apart. He didn't want to have that exposed like that. But the fact remains, Bradley was in the original first flag waving. And that's good enough for me. And you know, these people in Washington were, and they were going over this flag raising at our symposium. We went down to Washington. As far as many of us were still alive, we had 25 from Iwo Jima. I was the only one that was on Suribachi. The rest fought towards the north. And I brought that up to my buddies and these Washington people. I said, I get so sick and tired of hearing about this flag. Let me tell you all something right now. Every man, every Marine that fought on that island, every Navy man that fought against that island out in that water, they all put that flag up there, every one of us, because that's the way the Marine Corps and the Navy works. We work as a team together, and we got it done, and that's the memorial. And I'm all through hearing about that flag business. All of the men and their wives and that applauded. They all agreed to it. So that's as far as I can tell you about the beach and putting the flag up and everything that happened at Suribachi. I can tell you this, we lost 200 men going to the base of Suribachi. 200 of us. Just that far, 545 feet.
Well, Don, from all Americans, I want to say thank you for your service to the United States of America. Thank you, sir.
You bet. Thank you.